It's the Israeli Holocaust Remembrance Day today. It was set on the day that the Warsaw Ghetto Revolt began. All four of my grandparents are Holocaust survivors. All of them suffered tremendously before and during the war, and luckily for us, we had a chance to hear their stories directly from three of them. My father's parents were from Poland, and apart from the Nazi cruelty, they also encountered the heartless betrayal of Catholic Polish neighbors and friends, alongside rare deeds of human kindness that made their survival possible. Their stories, and being third-generation Holocaust survivor, was a part of my childhood in Israel, as much as playing outdoors and picking oranges, and still, today, I can't bring myself to get over my aversion of the way it's commemorated nationally. Growing up in the Israeli educational system, the Holocaust was a synonym to World War II. It was only in my late teens that I realized the true scope of the war, the destruction, the loss of life, but most importantly, the loss of humanity. It was only in my 20s when I realized that the Israeli discussion of the Holocaust misses much of the point. There are two things that the Israeli narrative focuses on. One is remembering those who perished, which I think is a must, especially as we're talking about my family members. And the other one is never again, the lesson we should take from it. And I think that this is where the Israeli narrative stops being relevant, because in Israel, never again refers to the Jewish Holocaust, and it's not a universal statement. Justice for all. Today, politicians and parliament members use big words like morality and wrongdoing. Where are these noble morals during the rest of the year? How do these same people treat the African refugees escaping brutality and death in their home countries? How do they treat the Arab minorities here in Israel? How can I take the national narrative seriously when after the '94 genocide in Rwanda, Israeli weapons were found to be used in massacring the Tutsis? And this is still happening today, as Israel sells arms to the genociders of North Sudan and the top-of-the-line surveillance technology to murderous dictatorships in Africa and Central America. Today, Israeli officials spoke about how they care about Holocaust survivors and how crucial they were in the establishment of Israel. But for the rest of the year, they forget about the 50,000 impoverished Israeli survivors that have to choose between medicine and food or heat. They forget about the horrendous bureaucracy that keeps the money in the treasury and not in the hands of those who desperately need it. There is only one official government authority responsible for caring for Holocaust survivors. Yet, to this day, they haven't completed a full survey of this population to map out their needs. I wish I didn't have to bring up Netanyahu in this video as well, but this is where he outdoes himself. 4 years ago, he blamed Haj Amin al-Husseini, the Palestinian mufti, for convincing Hitler to exterminate the Jews. It was so outrageous that Angela Merkel herself had to publicly remind him that the Germans are responsible for the Holocaust and not the Palestinians. Then, last year, Netanyahu became best buddies with the fascist president of Poland, responsible to passing a law forbidding any accusation of the Polish people in the horrors they committed during and after World War II against Jews. They co-signed a declaration exempting the Polish people from their responsibility to the atrocities that took place in Poland by Polish people during the war, and seeing the Polish people as victims as much as the Jews were. It's a shame he didn't speak to my grandfather before signing it. And today, he didn't miss out on the opportunity to use the Holocaust to pat himself on the back when during his official speech in Yad Vashem, he said that unlike the Holocaust, this time we identified the danger in time, referring to the coronavirus. The Holocaust Remembrance Day should be about the future as much as it is about the past. And this is completely missing from the national narrative. Luckily, there are great private initiatives that are dignified and do this day justice.